Welcome back to another edition of the Blackhawk Buzz. We're going to talk about etiquette. Believe it or not, even with my limited Ole Miss education, I can spell etiquette. But you don't want to know. We don't need to go into that right now.
I don't think you can.
I can't, believe me. But be that as it may, I'm still Van, he's still Derek. But we need to address some issues that some are embarrassing, and some just retains common sense up here.
Yeah.
To do that. So I'm going to let you start with the ugly first, and we'll go from there.
Well, and I think one of the things that everybody always kind of forgets is that if something isn't going correct on the golf course, then our staff has to go out there and be put in an awkward situation to try and correct it. It's tough, and all we ask is that consider our staff. Consider if you're putting us into a fair and unfair position so that it doesn't turn into an argument or anything like that. So is it severe? No. Are they some things that maybe we forget? And I think, look, golf's under a microscope. It's the only thing going on right now, and it's going to continue on through the fall from the looks of things. And we got this packed tee sheet. You know, in years past, one of the greatest selling points at Blackhawk was, hey, come down to the range, shoot out on the 6, play a few holes in the evening. You just can't do that anymore. Sure, there's going to be a couple openings, sneak out and play a couple holes, but just some things that I want to touch on. Okay, difficult to talk about, but I'm just asking the men. We have facilities on the golf course to go to the bathroom. Please remember that there are women on the golf course and young adults on the golf course, and it's not okay to just go to the bathroom anywhere, okay? We know where the outhouses are. When you make the turn, we know where the outhouse is. Make sure you use those so you don't do anything inappropriate on the golf course. Same thing as in the past. The bunkers are out there. We're still doing preferred lies. I think people forget at times. Rake that thing up, right? And you can see Chad still with a short staff after the washout even last night. It gets a little bit difficult to get all the bunkers. So we're still doing that. Rake the bunker. Put your ball in there.
Or if you don't want to touch a rake, which I know that there's some, okay, smooth it out as best you can with your foot and place it there. And then when you're done, smooth it out to the best of your ability with said feet and then go on.
Yep. Divots, ball marks, same thing you've been hearing me preach the entire year. Yeah. We got so much play out there. Just make sure, and we just got done plugging the greens, and they're already curing up pretty good. Divots on the golf course, especially after it rains, these things are big, and make sure we're taking care of the ball marks. Other thing, sometimes it's fun, and I get it, to go out and you see an open hole on 3 or you see an open hole on 5. You play a couple holes, you jump around. Just remember, the tee sheet is so full and continues to be full. The jumping around thing just kind of causes some problems. Maybe the group that, you know, got a hole behind, lost the ball or something, took a little bit, don't jump in front of them. We just ask that, you know, everybody plays nice out there. The other thing that comes up occasionally is make sure that you, the member, we don't want to have to police your guests, but we do have a dress code. We are a private club, and I think we're a pretty lenient private club as far as things go. But, you know, we're not into the gym shorts, and we're not into the T-shirts and the jeans we don't do between Memorial Day and Labor Day. And we just ask that if you're bringing guests that they know what it is so that we don't get put in an awkward position of, you know, hey, you got to wear a collared shirt, hey, no jeans, things like that. If one rule applies to you, it's got to apply to everybody. Sure. So we just got to make sure that we're monitoring that. The other thing is we got a lot of young guns here right now, guys and gals, because there's a couple that can really hit it hard. When people are in 4 or on 5 tee, don't hit range balls out where the balls can hit them. It gets really dangerous out there. We got to make sure we're watching for our members. You don't want somebody to come off a 4, play 5 while you're still on the range hitting balls, and all of a sudden you're having a conversation you don't want to have. Generally, they see me on the lesson tee and tell me, square that guy up. Just be careful, okay? The last thing is this. If you're going to come out as a one-some or a twosome, one thing that drives me nuts on the golf course, and maybe it's just my thing, but there's nothing worse than a foursome behind a foursome behind a foursome, and there's one person on the tee kind of standing there like you're in their way. Remember, it takes 4 hours and a couple minutes to play golf here, which means every tee time gets 2 hours on the front, 2 hours on the back. If you go out there and you think you're going to play through everybody, it's just not going to happen. Be ready. Maybe hit a couple extra putts if you got some time. Maybe hit a couple extra chips. That's fine. but don't put pressure on the group in front of you, especially if they're playing in the amount of time they're supposed to play. I know it might not seem right, but you're not going to get out there and play through 9 groups because it screws up the whole entire golf course. So when you get on there, you look at the tee sheet, you see there's a bunch of groups on there, and you're a twosome or a onesome, just know it's going to seem slow when it's really not.
It's called consideration, quite honestly. And if you're considerate, be mindful of the fact, okay, if there's 4 groups in front of you, either get 2 more players to join your group or suffer the so-called consequences. And they're not really consequences. I mean, we've had an incredible spring/summer. We've had a couple of days of rain, but the weather has really been pretty nice. And enjoy the ambiance of our club, the views, the people that you're playing with, or whatever the case is. I mean, the whole idea behind this is let's get together and let's have a good time. Social distancing and all that. But I mean, you can't expect to come out here and play 18 holes in 90 minutes. Several years ago, you might have been able to do that in a cart, and the cart doesn't stop. You get out, you hit your 1 putt or 2 putts, you go on to the next hole. That's not happening this year. We hope that maybe towards the end of the fall it might occur. But right now, this is reality. Take your time.
And one last thing. We have 40 carts. I don't have more than that. Single occupancy, which means if you got 10 tee times and you got 40 people and everybody wants a cart, all the other tee times probably aren't going to get a cart. So I understand you get here and maybe it doesn't seem like one's available. We will do everything we can to turn them quickly, sanitize them. If you have to go play 2 holes without one, we'll get one out there to you. Make sure when you come and check in, and this is not only for carts but also for your guests. I know we're not coming into the building. I understand some people don't want to put the mask on so they walk around, but we still need to know who's on the golf course, right? So if you're expecting a cart, you'll get one. Don't just show up without letting somebody in the pro shop know that, hey, I'm taking a cart down to the range because maybe we have to drive you down there, right? So just be sensitive to the times. The tee sheet is packed. We're limited on carts. The single occupancy puts us behind the 8 ball a little bit, and we're doing our best to make the experience for all the members here as good as it can be with what we have in front of us.
I echo that 8,000,000%. We're here to make your experience as a member be the best it can possibly be. And with that in mind, that's today's Blackhawk Buzz.